Hyvää huomenta, good morning, good morning. HX Challenge alkaa lähestyä puoliväliä. Kolmas testijakso käynnistyi eilen ja tällä kertaa vuorossa on Saab Gripen hävittäjä. Minä olen Emeli Peltonen, HX-hankkeen tiedotuspäällikkö ja koko hankkeen ja täällä on vähän puolesta toivotan teille taas tervetulleeksi Pirkkalaan. Muutama sana taas tähän alkuun. Kaikki mediapäivät on rakennettu samalla tavalla. Eli alkuun lyhyt ilmavoimien osuus, jonka jälkeen tarjoaja päättää mitä haluaa esittää tässä tilaisuudessa ja 2 tuntia on kesto. Siihen sisältyy tuo koneen esittely tuolla platalla. Aloitamme jälleen Satakunnan lennoston komentajan eversti HX-hankkeen puheenvuorolla ja hänen jälkeensä HX-hankejohtaja Juha-Pekka Keränen. Tämän jälkeen luovutan puheenvuoron Gripenin Suomen kampanjajohtaja Magnus Goldbergille. Tälläkin kertaa päivän kulku on sellainen, että pidetään kaikki puheet ja esitykset täällä ja sen jälkeen siirrytään tuonne ulos. Ulos siirryttäessä pyydämme taas ottamaan teitä kaiken omaisuuden mukaan ja odottamaan tuossa tämän rakennuksen sisäänkäynnin edessä, josta sitten on ohjattu saatto tuonne lentokoneelle. Muistutuksena vielä, että kaiken täällä esitetyn tiedon tulee olla julkista ja kuvaaminen on sallittua täällä ja taas tuolla ulkona sillä narulla merkityllä alueella. Ja kuten tähänkin asti, niin HX-hanke ei kommentoi tarjoajien tai kandidaattien tietoja tai ominaisuuksia ja olemme myös pyytäneet, että kandidaatti ei kerro yksityiskohtaisia tietoja tästä evaluoinnista aikataulujen tai siihen liittyvien tehtävien osalta. And then a couple of words in English also. All 5 media events are constructed in the same way. After a brief introduction by Finnish Air Force, we give floor to the visiting candidate. First we will have 2 presentations by 2 colonels of the Finnish Air Force. First, Colonel HX-hankkeen, who is the commander of the Satakunnan Air Command, and then after him we will have a presentation by Juha-Pekka Keränen, who is the HX Program Director. Then it is my pleasure to give floor to Mr. Magnus Goldberg, who is Gripen for Finland campaign director. And although the media event is organized here inside a military base, all content of the event shall include only unclassified information. And again, the Finnish Air Force will not comment on the qualities of the candidates. And mutually we have expressed a wish that candidates would not comment the content or detailed schedule of the challenge military capability evaluation. And today we will begin here with speeches and presentation and after this session we will walk down to the apron to see the aircraft. And then there will be bus waiting for us outside this building. Once again, welcome to this media day. Without further ado, eversti Heikkinen.
Hyvää huomenta minun puolestani. Olen tosiaan eversti HX-hankkeen ja kuten mainittua Satakunnan lennoston komentaja ja samalla olen tämän HX Challenge-testitapahtuman johtaja. Tervetuloa tosiaan 3. HX Challengen lehdistötilaisuuteen. HX Challenge etenee meidän suunnitelmien mukaisella polulla ja testausohjelma on myöskin edennyt odotetulla tavalla. Edellisen testattavan hävittäjän Dassault Rafalen testit ovat päättyneet ja seuraavaksi on vuorossa Saab Gripen E sekä Globaleye valvontakone. Satakunnan lennoston koelento-osaston koelentäjät ja insinöörit tekevät yhdessä tutkijoidemme kanssa täydellä höyryllä töitä koelentojen toteuttamiseksi, testiohjelman eteenpäin viemiseksi sekä saatujen tulosten raportoimiseksi. Lennostoni henkilökunta on saanut paljon kiitosta kandidaateilta testien täsmällisistä järjestelyistä sekä erittäin ammattitaitoista toteuttamisesta. Challengen puoliväli lähestyy ja me Satakunnan lennostossa olemme tyytyväisiä koelentojen etenemiseen, joten tästä on hyvä jatkaa Gripenin parissa. On my behalf, welcome to Satakunnan Air Command and to the 3rd HX Challenge press conference. I'm Colonel HX-hankkeen, commander of the Satakunnan Air Command and also commander of HX Challenge test event. Satakunnan Air Command is responsible to provide all the support that the visiting teams require here at Pirkkala. We are also responsible to command and control the test field setup and of course to execute the flight test operations during the HX Challenge. The test program for the previous candidates was completed successfully and as it was planned. Next candidate to be tested is the Saab Gripen E fighter and Globaleye early warning and control aircraft. We in Satakunnan Air Command are ready to proceed with the testing of the next candidate. Now I will hand over to HX Program Director Colonel Keränen. Thank you.
Good morning and welcome Saab team here in Finland, and it's a pleasure for us also. It's this first time Gripen E is flying abroad and especially here in Finland. So I have the same presentation now in third time, so I briefly describe in what stage we are in the HX program. So I've been many times asked what is the weather look like, what is the best weather for the testing. So I would say this morning was really good example about good bad weather. So we had a snow graining, meaning that it's icy condition both with the airframe itself and also causing some bad friction for the runways. So that's the kind of test weather we'd also like to have also. But of course would like to have also minus 20 degrees and the sky also to be tested also electrical systems and electro-optic systems also. So next please. Yeah. Okay, I would like to highlight about the schedule itself. So we have to have fully operational capability by 2030 with all tenders, and that's how the HX schedule has been built up. And to reach that, so meaning we have to have IOC by late 2027, meaning that in the beginning of 28 we could have one squadron operational with the new HX fighter. And how we can achieve that schedule is meaning that we have to have first aircraft arriving either in Finland or in Sweden or other nations by 2025 to start our own training. And it's huge event in our Air Force also skilled up all the capabilities to put up training syllabi and get the operational pilots enough to be capable to operate full fleet of HX. And what comes to the HX program, this spring itself is also quite busy for the other team than eval team also. So we are expecting to have tomorrow responses about each tender and our revised RFQ response. And in springtime we have negotiations round 4 with each tender, and we try to together build up best capabilities out from each tender. And our best and final offer will be sent by summer or by autumn. Next please. Even though military capability is only one which will be ranked, all the other decision-making areas are also really important. I would like to highlight that we have a combined planning exercise together with each tender to form up best solution which could actually pass all the steps in our decision-making model. And to get security supply passed, it means that we have to be capable to independence operations stated in our RFQ as a time frame, meaning that logistical lines are cut or in communication lines are cut. And affordability, our government has given us 10 billion maximum budget. We have to put everything on that. So meaning if you have to build up any infrastructures or whatever needed here inside of Finland, that must be also covered in that same budget. Another tough issue is that operational costs must be at the level of current F-18. So if any tender have problems to solve out those items, so we have to come back in the lowest level and define better solution which can actually pass that step. But if you can easily pass that step, you can also don't put extra money on that. You can go direct to the military capability area and put some extra capabilities over there. So that's how we are planning those capabilities. And same for the industrial participation. So our Minister of Defense, Jussi Niinistö, put us as 30% of total value of budget must be covered by industrial participation. So we are aiming at either direct participation, meaning that could help us to build up our sustainable solution inside here in Finland. We can also have some indirect industrial participation also, but those must be included direct to our defense force capabilities. It could be like test and modeling, whatever capabilities built up in holding the defense forces side, and also same issue. Don't put extra money on that items to get everything out from the military capability side. And if you can read about those industrial participation requirements, we are once again we come at the lower level and design our model and get to build up the better package for each tender. Next, please. So we have a capability-based approach, and here in HX Challenge we are testing aircraft itself and its connectivity to other aircraft and our C2 systems or command and control systems also, how it been networked. But of course that's not only way what will be tested. So we test also how the missions are planned, so how the mission planning systems are working, how the mission debriefing systems are working, how can we get everything out from those test flight and debrief afterwards, and we discuss also what kind of sensor suites and other systems should be required to pass those scenarios what we have put in our RFQs. And for being capable to operate as in our Air Force doctrine, by the Air Force doctrine, we have to have also some kind of logistical system which gives us capability to disperse our aircraft, meaning that we have to build up our agile combat support system here inside the Finnish Air Forces. So being capable to use civilian airfields and maybe in highway strips also. And in the bottom side of this picture is that we have to have also some training and testing capabilities inside the Finland to be capable to build up own training syllabi, and also being capable to do some research and development inside the Finnish Air Force. And my side is that we are capable to put some good tactics, techniques and procedures on board when we are operating, and we are fully capable to operate with the Gripen E solution in this. Next, please. So we have 5 mission areas what will be tested also in here, but those are our operational requirements stated by our defense forces. So counter air is the most critical one, because whatever missions you are conducting in airborne, you always are facing against the fighters or against the ground-based air defense. So you have to have capable to survive and also defeat your enemy aircrafts. And we also have to have capability to support our army, and that's been done by counter land operations, just different mission sets inside that areas. We have to have capability also to operate and support our navy. That's in counter sea operations. And like today, we already had long-range strike capability. That's also one requirement put it in our defense force headquarters. And new area is intelligence surveillance and target acquisition to build up how to actually build up the situational awareness inside the defense forces. How well we can support our army, navy, and defense force command to build up the enemy order of battle and that kind of items in operational environment. And because environment here in Finland is challenging, it's both in weather side and also in some operational aspects. You have to have capability to operate on all in these conditions, and those will be tested in our evaluations. Next, please. And this HX challenge, we are now in bottom of this evaluation matrix. So we are testing here mainly about how the system requirements are behaved here in order to our circumstances stated in our scenarios. So we have those 5 mission sets. We have put those requirements as scenarios in our RFQ. Those are same in revised RFQ, and it's 10 days options how they will put the concept of operations and solve the problem what we have put on those scenarios. And we test now in here not the capabilities about the system itself. We test what, in this case, what Saab has put in the response, and if needed, that the radar must detect targets in 100 kilometers. So is that valid? That numbers what they have put in the responses, and this is not the stage that we are putting each tender and ranking those tenders. We are just optimizing. It would say like it's like a risk mitigation system. So is it true what they have been answers given to us? And also this puts some challenges to each tender. So when they are giving some responses for us, so don't put some extra numbers and just put some truth numbers, because those will be tested. And those tests will be used in next level when we go to capability requirements. So how well we can conduct in simulations and with the virtual simulations also those scenarios. We fly those scenarios with the simulators, and we use these numbers being tested here in this first stage of evaluations. And finally, when we go to the operational level, we have a operational wargaming in here in Finnish Defense Forces, and we test in like 2 weeks wargaming how well each tender can conduct and operate it in each package what they are building up. So the package must include also enough numbers of weapons and all the sensors and all the logistical support equipments needed to disperse and use operations. Next please. So each tender has 3 weeks to substantiate data. This is second week what we are doing here in HX challenge. Every tender has 7 days how about to show about the capabilities, and together with the Gripen team we have built up and pick up test events here in this week what will be tested during the whole week, and that's how it's done. So unfortunately we can't go details about testing events itself, but it's, I would say, like Commodore here, Aki Heikkinen already told, that events are well picked up, and we are pretty sure that all the major events will be tested. Any questions for me? So.
Thank you, Jens. Please introduce yourself and the media you are representing. We will have time for a couple of questions here before we move on.
Kettunen from Suomen Sotilas magazine. Beside the planes themselves, will you also be testing support equipment?
Yeah, those will be tested in the later on. So of course now we see here how is turnarounds done here in the Gripens, and of course we test also what is the turnaround times that those timing will be used in wargaming also. So it's really important to know everything what will be needed to operate the aircraft itself.
Gareth Jennings from James. Globaleye part of Saab's bid, but I didn't see it on the schedule. How and when will you be testing that platform?
It will be tested so that our team is in Linköping now currently, and if weather permits, it will also land here in the Pirkkala air base. But they come from the Sweden, flight and test it in our test range here in our own airspaces. So, and our test team is in the Sweden currently, so going inside of the Globaleye. But I guess Saab is coming more thorough about how it's been done here during this week. So.
Alan Warnes, freelancer. Can you tell us how important is the road-based concept as part of the HS acquisition?
It is in Finland because we are lacking some air bases, so meaning that we have to disperse and to be capable to disperse enough well, so meaning that we have to use also road bases, and those will be tested when we are doing some landings either here in Pirkkala and doing also some taxiing tests here in Pirkkala, and we are using other air bases also, so which are putting some challenges over there.
And are you happy with the security that would be at the road bases for the future acquisition?
Yes. So we use as also reservists in our Finnish Defense Forces. So our wartime, as a peacetime, we have roughly 2,000 people working in our air forces. So we have 1,500 conscripts, but in as a wartime scenarios, we have 25,000 people working in our air forces, and mainly of those are who are protecting our air bases.
Okay,
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
John Lake, freelance. with security of supply, can you clarify what your aspirations are in terms of being able to have sovereign national mission data, and what are you looking for from the HX contenders in terms of what they can provide?
I'm sorry, I can't go to details, but as we have put some 7 critical requirements in our RFQ, but those are classified, those numbers, and what we are evaluating and testing and assessing is how well we can modify our mission data files if needed, if some changes happens here in our operational environment. So how it's done, it's depending on each nations. There's lots of variations, and it's not full requirement. Everything must be done here in Finland or tested in Finland, but of course most of those must be tested also in Finland side. So if you have like some kind of hardware in the loop test bench in the UK side or in Sweden, we can use also those benches if needed. But for being capable to operate and change your mission data files, that's the requirement. And also there's I would say, really tough requirements in our RFQs.
So you feel you need to have the ability to update mission data in country?
Update and modify, yeah. What is needed to update and how to modify, of course, it's aircraft dependent.
So if a contender can't allow you to modify your own mission data in country, that would be a fail?
Not so strictly. You have to have capability to modify your mission data files. If it's some restrictions which are done outside of Finland, but in certain period of time you can do it, so then it's passed. So more. How to say? Sorry, I can't go to the details. That's to put certain time in the requirement. What must be done here in Finland, and of course you know that you have your own data, you have different data, and you put those data together, and that's always dependent how countries are cooperating. So mainly you have to have capability to modify.
Right.
Yeah. So
that
for
doesn't need to be done in Finland necessarily.
Mainly.
Okay,
Thank you. I think it's time to move on, and Magnus, floor is yours, please.
Thank you, Emily. Thank you, Colonel Keronen. Technology is with us. So, a warm good morning to all of you. My name is Magnus Goldberg. I am heading the HX activities within Saab. We are truly happy to see so many of you here. Obviously, we have heard and understood that the HX program for the Finnish Defence Forces is an important and big program. Likewise, it is an important program for Finland. We do see a clear interest when it comes to the HX program from you, from media, and from the broad society. And we think it is fully natural. And we are doing what we can to support as much information as possible, to be open and transparent. And that is why we're happy to be here during this day. And obviously, as we heard before, yes, there are many areas where we cannot go into all the details. The agenda that we have prepared for this morning will start with introductions about Saab, about Gripen in general, as well as about our activities here in Finland. We will hear a little more about Globaleye as well, our airborne early warning and control system. And I will have here to my help my colleagues Jonas Hjelme, heading Saab Business Area Aeronautics, as well as Anders Karp, head of Saab Business Area Surveillance, that will lead us through this introduction part. Then I will come back and dig deeper into Saab and our HX program, about the offering, the logic that we see, when it comes to our bid and suggestions for Finland, as well as I will touch upon as well what we're doing and conducting during this week in the evaluation activities. Then we will have some summarizing words. There will be time for questions, and then we will go outdoors and have a look at the aircraft. After that, there will be a bus taking us around for more time for interviews, as well as there will be a lunch soup for all of us. So this will be the agenda, and the questions, once again, we will try to summarize that towards the end of the briefing. So I'd like to hand over the word to Jonas, please.
Thank you, Magnus. Good morning to everyone. Thank you for being here, and a special thank you to Finland, to the Finnish Defence Forces, to MOD, and especially the HX program. And thank you for having us here. Exciting week ahead of us. And I must say, it was nice to actually come to some real proper winter weather instead of the slushy, rainy, dark we had in Stockholm this morning. So thank you once again. I'll try to take you through a little bit about Saab in a broader perspective, a little bit about Gripen, but as Magnus was showing, you will hear more about the specifics in the HX program from him later on. That was the first picture. Here we go in. We have been, since 1946 here in Finland, very proud supplier to the Finnish Defence Forces. We have a very broad product portfolio today from a Saab perspective, not only in the aviators or in the aeronautics sector. We have today the possibility to provide to a customer in all aspects, the Navy, the Army, the Air Force, a complete system, and also to link it together with the command and control. So it's a very broad product portfolio. Therefore, we believe that we are a great partner to any defense force around the world, and certainly we are already a very good partner to the Finnish Defence Forces as we speak of today. This also gives us the possibilities to link together a very comprehensive proposal in like the HX program, which we are showing through that we are not just bringing the fighter, we are also bringing the Globaleye as a force multiplier. My colleague Anders Karp will talk more about that later on. Here are some facts and figures, and as many of you know, we are soon to reveal the numbers for 2019, so these are a little bit old, but they are roughly correct. We are around 17,000 people. Of those, 13,000 in Sweden and the rest abroad, and we are steadily growing that. We have some real highlights the later years. We are in development now in a lot of areas. In the Navy side, on the submarines, we are building a world-class new diesel-electric submarine. We, together with Boeing, won the TX contract for the US Air Force, now named the T7 Red Hawk, that we are now in full speed ahead in actually building for the US Air Force. That's a huge program, and I also think that's a recognition of Saab and Saab Aeronautics' skills when it comes to the field of aeronautical. We have the Globaleye that we will talk more about later on, but that's also a new development, the latest years. And obviously, we have the newest version of the Gripen aircraft, the Gripen Echo and the Gripen Foxtrot, that are, by all means, the latest and the greatest in the fighter market. So we are happy to be able to be here today and a few days forward to actually show the capabilities that this very, very modern fighter actually can provide to an Air Force, and in this case, the Finnish Air Force. Going in a little bit more into the Gripen Echo Foxtrot. We have two customers, as I think all of you know. We have Sweden that signed a contract in 2013, and we have Brazil 2014. 60 aircrafts in Sweden, all of them single seat, and in Brazil 36 aircrafts, 8 of them are the dual seat, the Foxtrot version. We flew the first time with a fully qualified software 2017, we flew the Gripen E for the first time. And we are now full speed ahead in the test and verification program. As we speak of today, we are flying in Sweden, we are testing, we are opening the envelope, and we are now in a stage where we are moving into the tactical systems to test the radar, the EW system, the payloads, the weapons themselves. So we are really moving ahead in this program. And we have also, the last year, 2019, handed over the first Brazilian aircraft and also the first Swedish aircraft that will go into respective air forces, and they will be used in the common test program as we go along. So the progress in the program is really, really good. And for us, this is a great opportunity as well to be here in Finland, not just to participate in the HX challenge, but also that gives us very valuable feedback in our test and evaluation program. So we're happy also from that perspective. We are currently flying the 39-7. I know that a lot of you are familiar with these acronyms. That is the test aircraft that will join later on also here in Finland in the HX challenge. We have the 39-8, that was the first Gripen E aircraft that flew in 2017. We have the 9, we have the 10 that you will see a little bit later. We have the first Brazilian, 6001, and the first Swedish, 6002. So we're flying all these aircrafts now, and really, as I said, picking up the pace in the test and verification program. We are now entering in, moving from the development phase in the program into delivery phase, increasing the testing and starting the deliveries. So starting from this year and onwards, we are starting the deliveries to our 2 existing customers. So progress is good, and we are on track with the program. With that, as a general overview, I would like to hand over the floor to my colleague Anders Karp to talk more about Globaleye and also Saab in Finland in a broader perspective. Thank you.
Jonas. So, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Anders Karp, Senior Vice President and Head of Business Area Surveillance. I would also like to extend my sincere thanks to our hosts for having us this week, and we really look forward to participate, as Jonas said, not only with the Gripen but also with the Globaleye. So first, let me start a bit about Saab in Finland. We've been a proud partner to the Finnish Defence Forces since 1946, when our company in this country was established. We're roughly 120 employees in various cities. We're in 2 main companies, Saab Finland Oy as well as Combitech Oy. Combitech is also a special partner to the Finnish Defence Forces. Certain note. In 2017, we signed an agreement with Aalto University for research and studies to be made over a time period where we are investing 20 million euros in the areas of advanced electronics, microwave technology, RF technology, etc. This, together with the technology center that we formed in Tampere the year later, is part of Saab AB's global R&D organization, where we do everything from really early studies and research to actual development of our current products. We see this to be an area where we will grow quite fast in the coming years, given the extremely good standard of Finnish engineers. We're also, during this year, due to the contract we signed last year for the Squadron 2020 with the Finnish Navy, we will build up 9LV, which is the name of the command and control system we use for maritime use or naval ships. We will build a command and control / 9LV system center in Tampere, and a piece most likely in Turku as well during the year. I mentioned the Squadron 2020, which is one of the most prestigious contracts actually to be signed worldwide last couple of years, given its not only its size but also in the way that the Finnish customer actually performed the competition. A very detailed and thorough competition where we are extremely proud of have won. We also won the previous or the predecessor, the Hamina class midlife upgrade 2 years ago, including new torpedoes and advanced command and control, combat management system, and so on. And we also won advanced simulators, among other contracts, the last years in Finland. So all in all, we are a proud partner with a large installed product base within the Navy, Army, and the Finnish Air Force as well. Just to give some piece of or outline a bit where I come from, I'm heading the sensor and command and control business within Saab. In sensors, we're both in active sensors as well as passive sensors. And this picture really shows where we actually knit together all domains and all capabilities from a sensor and command control point of view within Saab. So we have the air domain, where we have sensors, both active and passive. We do command and control for aircraft as well, or for the air forces. We do the same for our naval customers, land customers, and also some in the security domain. This has led to that we have a unique position to actually tie together a lot of sensors into a command and control system, which actually can bring the best situational awareness or situational awareness picture for the customer. And one of the most or the hardest ways to do that is in a flying command and control center. Using all sorts of active and passive sensors on a platform, integrating all of those surveillance data that you get into one situational awareness picture, which gives the Air Force or the operator, the defense operator, the best possible view on what to do next. We started this in late 80s, early 90s, with, of course, back then with Swedish Air Force on the Saab 340 platform. Now we extended that to 7 more customers worldwide on 3 other platforms. The latest, of course, being the Globaleye, based on the Global 6000 and / Global 6500 platform. We have the knowledge, we have built up the knowledge over these years for not only the sensors, but of course also the integration part, the knowledge we have from aircraft manufacturing and development and manufacturing over the years, the sensor technology as well as command and control, put that all together into a platform. We're very happy to be able to participate in this challenge with a true force multiplier, and I think and hope that the Finnish Air Force will appreciate this capability and multiplying effect. With that, thank you. And I now hand over back to Magnus.
Thank you very much, Anders. Thank you, Jonas, for these introductions. We will now continue and talk a little bit more about the HX perspective of what we're doing and what we are offering. We initiated our activities a number of years ago. We are fully committed to this program. We supported the early fact-finding activities of the Finnish Air Force. And right now we are conducting the flight evaluations here at Pirkkala Air Base. We're about to hand in our response to the updated request for quotation that we have been working with during this autumn. And what I think is important to note here is how complex these type of programs are and how important it is to have a good dialogue between ourselves as a potential candidate in this and also the Finnish defense forces. And I think that is a very good example, the setup we see here, where we have a lot of dialogue, workshops, negotiation rounds to make sure that we understand each other from all angles and perspectives. Not only Saab as an industry is part of this, we cooperate closely together also with the Swedish Defence Material Administration as well as the Swedish Air Force because of all the broader aspects when it comes to bilateral cooperation, Air Force to Air Force cooperation. So this is also part of the overall HX context. The Gripen, the latest version, the Echo Foxtrot, is truly, as we see it, the latest available fighter aircraft type on the market. It is designed to handle the toughest threat situations, threat scenarios, and adversaries with a very high level of technology. It is a true multi-role platform from the beginning, not only Gripen Echo Foxtrot. Gripen and the whole family of aircraft from the Alpha Bravo, Charlie Delta are built to be multi-role, to be able to support an Air Force broad needs and serve a number of different mission types. We have the most recent technology on board this system. I will talk a little bit more about how we have designed the avionics, especially to make sure that it is future-proof. Whatever type of aircraft we decide right now, no matter how perfect it is, we know that the situation and the threats will evolve over time, and our system needs to follow that. We truly believe that with Gripen, we have a good possibility to bring a lot of operational capability for the budget set and to maximize what the Finnish Defence Forces will get out of the investment they are doing in the HX program. This is the way it looks like in the Gripen Cockpit. It is a very modern human-machine type of environment where the information is presented to the pilot. On the right side here, you can see the wide area display that is reconfigurable and can show information in a very intuitive way. We have paid a lot of attention to make sure that the machine, the technology, the computers are working in a seamless and good way together with the pilot on board. Because it does not matter how much technology and functions you pour into a fighter system if you cannot convey that information in a smart way for quick decisions to do the right things in the battle. We also have helmet-mounted display systems, and the most important thing and the big step we've taken with Echo Foxtrot is that no longer the pilot is controlling each sensor individually. In Gripen, the pilot is defining a volume of interest. It may be a box in the air or a square on the ground, where he or she would like to see exactly what's happening. And then the overall sensor control system will optimize the use of the available sensors on board, as well as fuse it with data coming from data links, and show an overall aggregated picture. And here you can see that at the same time, Gripen can handle a large number of such volumes of interest at the same time. And this reduces the workload to handle all the sensors for the pilot, so that the pilot can focus on the tactical mission, the key task the pilot has to sort out. As far as we know, this is unique with Gripen Echo and Foxtrot, and we think it will bring a lot of operational value. The whole idea behind is to make sure that when the pilot is working through this wheel of first observing what is happening around, then making sure to orient what does this mean to me. There is a lot of support from the decision support system within Gripen to tell what are the dangerous areas, where should you fly, suggestions on how to do in certain situations. And this will enable quick decision making and action. And the faster we can spin this wheel, the better we will be able to handle the mission we're out for. On top of knowing where we are and utilizing the sensors in the smartest way, we need weapons, either for deterrence or a tangible effect in a target. Gripen is built with a lot of flexibility when it comes to weapons. We have been doing weapons integration for many years, and the approach we've taken is to pick the best weapon system from the best supplier worldwide. So we have a long heritage. We do weapons integration in a short period of time, in a cost-efficient way, and this provides us the unique possibility of offering a weapons package with a number of the leading weapons that are available today. Then obviously we would like our pilots to get back home alive. We would like to be able to use the aircraft many times, and the electronic warfare system on board, that is the system with all the sensors and countermeasure systems to increase the survivability. We do feel we are one of the world-leading companies within electronic warfare system, and this is part of Anders is part of the organization we just heard more about. Gripen has a 360-degree spherical coverage of a number of different sensors, radar warning receivers, missile approach warners, and advanced internal jamming capabilities, as well as chaff and flares dispensing systems, so that we can fool incoming missiles to go after a hot flare somewhere, or other things that we drop out of the aircraft, so that we are not hit by either a radar-seeking missile or an infrared guided type. This area where we are front runners, I'd say, probably we offer the most advanced electronic warfare system available on the market. To have something similar, you would need to go for very specialized electronic warfare system platforms. Nowadays, however, it is not only for self-protection you will use electronic warfare. There are a number of situations where you would like to actively use this capability to disturb the possibility of the adversary to use the advanced sensors of ground-based air defense systems, for instance. Often we refer to as electronic attack, to jam these opposing sensors. Gripen Echo Foxtrot has electronic attack capabilities built in the onboard electronic warfare system. On top of that, we can also complement the system with additional decoy systems and jammers when and if we see a need to further broaden the frequency range or the jamming effect. And here you can see on the slide up to the right the latest version, the electronic attack jammer pod that we initiated flight test activities for in the fall, in November last year, where we are utilizing the same type of technology that we have also on the onboard system. With a two-seat Gripen Foxtrot in this example, we also show how we can use our smart human-machine interface in a way where not only one pilot, but one pilot and an operator on board can handle the most complex type of EW-related missions on board. I will not go into all the details on exactly what we are offering Finland within this arena. It is sensitive, both from a competition point of view, but also from an operator perspective. But I can say that we have a very sophisticated and powerful approach when it comes to electronic warfare in the HX program. It is important, of course, to be able to use the system in the everyday context. Gripen is designed for harsh conditions and easy maintenance, to be serviced by conscript mechanics. It is built to be used at the road bases that is already today a concept of the Finnish Air Force. A turnaround, we heard about Colonel Keränen talking about turnarounds at road bases and the importance to have a smooth operation. With Gripen, you do a turnaround within 10 minutes time. That is, if you're doing air-to-air, you do the refueling, rearmament, and that is building sorted generation so that we can perform a lot of missions in a defined period of time with Gripen. That is building operational capability. An engine change, if that would be needed, can be done within less than 1 hour. And this, as far as we understand and know, is quite unique. Gripen is designed around all these aspects, a small logistic footprint and easy maintenance. Then over time, we know that the needs will change. There will be new threat systems, opposing aircraft types, or new ground-based air defense systems that we need to handle. We need to make sure that the system can evolve over a 30-year life cycle that an aircraft often is used during. In many cases, there is one big or a couple of big leaps over the lifespan in a so-called midlife upgrade. With Gripen, from the first versions, Alpha Bravo, Charlie Delta, we've rather taken the approach to stepwise introduce new functionality and capability. And with the latest version, Echo Foxtrot, we've taken even smaller steps. And that we do thanks to a revolutionary avionics system, where we have separated the flight critical part of the software from the mission related functions. And that means we can insert new functions and capabilities in a very quick and efficient way without having to do the full recertification and testing of the flight critical part of the software. And this will speed up the loop of updates, and it will prevent the operator from using a big proportion of investments for future capability for this type of testing, but rather get the output of a lot of new functions and capabilities instead. This is unique, and this type of setup, this separation, was what we heard from Jonas before. All that was certified when we had the first flight of the test aircraft -8. That is a test aircraft coming from the serial production line. Of course, before that we have been flying also the -7. If we take a step from Echo Foxtrot Gripen and what that is per se, in the offering to Finland in the context of the HX program, we have included both Gripen Echo and Gripen Foxtrot aircraft in a mix. And not only aircraft are included, but also a full set of the equipment and services needed to initiate operations. Initial training as a service for all the personnel categories involved. Simulators are included for the various bases around Finland, as well as the mission and ground support equipment. We have quite a large number of drop tanks, pylons, launchers, and all this type of equipment needed for operations. There is a substantial weapon package we have defined also in order to handle the different scenarios that we heard about before, that we have been studying, evaluating, and suggesting concepts of operations for. And here, obviously, the weapons integration capability and our flexibility is supporting us. We have included a full in-service support for the first 5 years of operation to enable a smooth introduction of Gripen into Finland. Industrial participation in order to build security of supply is another large and important part of what we are suggesting, and I will come back to that a little more later on. And security of supply has been guiding us in defining the overall capabilities and offering. On top of the Gripen, we also see that with the overall capability requirements, and where each candidate is free to suggest a package that could optimize the air defense capabilities of Finland, we have decided to include the Globaleye airborne early warning and control system. It provides a strategic asset for 24/7 airspace, land, and sea surveillance. We think it will provide a situational awareness enhancement for Finland that will work for supporting the nation's territorial integrity. And it is a substantial contribution for the operational capability, not only for the Air Force, but also for the Finnish Navy and for the ground forces of the Finnish Army that we heard about in the beginning. It provides support for all the domains, an increased coverage with regards or in relation to ground-based radars is probably the most kind of clear advantage of this type of airborne elevated sensor. And by this coverage, we will gain pre-warning time. We will know what is happening around Finland, and we can prepare in due time. Also, it offloads the fighter fleet. It will prevent us from the need of going up for combat air patrol if not needed, meaning that the fighter fleet could have the highest possible readiness and availability at the moment it would be really, really needed. And the mission time here is well above 11 hours, so it's a long endurance type of platform. The whole logic is about covering what ground-based sensors do not see. Ground-based sensors would see out to 40 kilometers, roughly. And that is and poses a trickiness when it comes to low-flying incoming hostile objects. With a sensor like the Globaleye high up in the sky, we will be able to extend the coverage up to 10 times on low level. And that will give us another 20 minutes of pre-warning. This we see as a substantial element supporting the survivability of the whole Finnish Defence Forces. It's an impressive coverage. The instrumented range, meaning how far the sensors as such can see, is above 550 kilometers. And because of the Earth curvature, you can see out to this distance all objects coming in above 9,000 feet. At lower altitude, still we have an extreme coverage up to 450 kilometers. And this is really the gain from the Globaleye. Here you see a picture showing that on the top of the aircraft there is our advanced radar system. We have a platform that is very suitable for this type of operations. It's easy to use, quick turnaround times, the Global 6000 family. And in the back, down left on the picture, you can see the 5 operator consoles where the operators can be working without either the command and control area or the advanced radar or EW functionality on board. The system has a very high accuracy. We see extremely small objects coming in at any speed, and often slow-moving objects can be hard to detect, but those we see with Globaleye. It is extremely jamming resistant, and that means once we have the Globaleye up, we will have an extremely good picture on what is happening in the air. So to summarize, it is providing a strategic asset for Finland, for all the domains, and this intelligence surveillance, target acquisition and reconnaissance capability is something that will provide this pre-warning time. It will offload the fighters for high availability when needed, and this is securing the optimal use of the assets. And then some words about what we are doing here during this week and the HX Challenge that is just starting up. We're truly happy to be here, and we are participating in the challenge activities with the Globaleye. The Globaleye will be airborne later this morning. You will be able to follow it on flight radar if you're interested. We have the Gripen Echo, the -10 platform, as well as we will be using our sensor development platform, the -7 we heard about before. And that is a system that we use with the full set of Gripen Echo Foxtrot functionality in the back seat, at the same time as we have a Gripen Charlie Delta type of configuration for the flight critical part. And this has been a very good way of being able to test out functionality in a quick way in the program. So there are 3 aircraft that will participate, and today here, after this briefing and the question and answer session, we will be able to go out on the apron and take pictures of and see the Echo. And we will also have our head of Flight Test Center, Mikael Olsson, will talk a little bit more about Gripen from a pilot's perspective. Also, as we heard this morning, the Challenge Week is about data substantiation. So our target is to meet the expectations of the Finnish Air Force, to collect the data needed so that we can substantiate the information we have submitted and are submitting in our discussions with the customer, as well as the revised RFQ response. The plan we had that we informed some of you, I think, about before, was that we would see a takeoff of the Gripen Echo. It was planned to do one of the sorties out of the HX Challenge sorties that we are doing this week. Due to the bad weather conditions, we have decided not to conduct that flight as planned at lunchtime today. And the simple reason is the weather conditions. And we need to optimize the flights we are doing during this quite intensive week of tests. Even though we are extremely happy, all of you are here, the overall aim is to support the Finnish Air Force in the tests and evaluation. And we did not have the right, how shall I say, situations. We did not have the right conditions to perform what we wanted to perform during that sortie. So we're sorry for that. We would have liked to offer you that possibility, but you will see the aircraft outside. Then we have aside the Gripen and Globaleye as such, we paid a lot of attention in the HX program to go through what it would mean to integrate and get these systems into service in Finland. We've conducted thorough site surveys, and we come to the conclusion that it's a very smooth integration effort needed. We can use the existing maintenance facilities with very small minor adaptations. We can use the existing road bases, and because of the short takeoff and landing capabilities of Gripen, the Finnish Defence Forces can even easily introduce new such airfields if needed, without or with quite small burden. And the noise levels and other environmental conditions, we feel that what we are suggesting to be introduced in Finland does not pose a big modification or adaptation work. And the systems, both Globaleye and Gripen, are fully NATO interoperable, and we have gone through all the details when it comes to the command and control infrastructure here in Finland, data link systems, to understand the interfaces. And we see that this will be a fairly easy task to make sure that this will work together. We heard about security of supply. I sometimes say that it's a little bit of a religion here in Finland that we are truly happy to support. It is about to make sure that the capabilities are being established in country, the capabilities needed to operate, maintain, and also to some extent further adapt the system over the complete life cycle. And the two main targets we have when it comes to security of supply, that is to work for high availability of the fleet. The other one is to make sure that the operational relevance is kept at a high level over time. The first we do mainly by setting up a thorough support solution with maintenance, repair and overhaul capability built up. The second part, we suggest to establish a system center. We heard a similar setup we have for the Squadron 2020, the C2 part of that. And this is about establishing capabilities in country for the sustainment support, as well as for the possibility of further development and adaptations. We work closely together with Finnish industry and the strategic partners of the Finnish Defence Forces, where Patria and Insta are the biggest actors and players. And this is the whole, meaning security of supply. That is the whole background for industrial participation. And it is for the availability and for the operational relevance. On the first part, we are doing a lot of education and on-the-job training, where we involve the Finnish industry in the production and delivery activities of Gripen and Globaleye. We also suggest quite a substantial package for parts production in Finland, as well as final assembly of aircraft and engines. And we do this because we see that it builds capabilities that are needed or serving very well for the long-term operation and support. We also use and work closely with Finnish industry in the support that we are conducting during the first 5 years, 2025 to 2030. And this makes sure that over this period of time, when we are doing the deliveries, the Finnish industry and local parties will be up and running, and we will have made sure that the capability has been fully established. For the operational relevance over time, we have participation from Finnish industry in some of the adaptation work we do for Finnish specific functions. We also work closely together with industry for the integration into the command and control systems in Finland. And the system center I talked about, we set it up and we operate it together with the Finnish industry, as well as, and that is the whole idea with the center, that it would be a setup where industry would work closely together with the Finnish Defence Forces organizations. It is about joining capabilities and joining the different organizations in an efficient way for the long-term sustainment and support. There is a need or requirement for 30% industrial participation. We feel we have a very good possibility to meet those expectations, and our main focus is within the direct industrial participation, meaning that the programs that we are and projects that we are proposing are clearly and closely linked to the military capability of the HX system. We also have a number of projects within the indirect arena to support the broader needs for sustaining the high capability in technology relevant areas for the Finnish Defence Forces. In the beginning, I said that this is a big and important program for Finland. It is at the same time a big investment. The Finnish Defence Forces has taken a design to cost approach, and we have of course set up and defined a package within this frame of the 10 billion that we heard about, including of course the deduction for internal cost also that the Finnish Defence Forces will have for certain adaptations and their own cost to introduce the system. Also, there is a design to cost when it comes to operation and sustainment. We've looked heavily into this, and we think that here we have an area where we are quite unique. Gripen is designed as a very cost-efficient platform, and this is one of the drivers for us, or one of the explanations for which we are able to suggest in this frame of the HX program as well to introduce an airborne early warning and control system to Finland. If it wouldn't have been for the cost efficiency, we wouldn't have had that possibility. So we have set up something that will still be for the cost of operation and sustainment in the same level as of today, as stated and requested. And we have a lot of dialogue together with the customer so that we go through all the aspects and the customer can evaluate this thoroughly. And we shall not forget that over time, the design of the systems, both Gripen and Globaleye, they are designed in a modular approach so that we will be able to introduce new capabilities over time without a big cost burden. So the last slide before we enter into the question session here, I'd like to point out the logic we see for Gripen and Globaleye to Finland. First of all, Gripen is designed for the task, the type of threat systems we see, designed for the everyday operation, road bases, conscript mechanics. Globaleye is a very strong force multiplier to Gripen. We know and feel confident that nobody beats us on cost efficiency, and that is one of the design criteria, so to speak, for the offering, given this design to cost approach. We offer an extensive security of supply package in close collaboration with the Finnish industry. And not only we have the toolbox, we have long experience of how we do this, and I think we have shown a lot of good examples, for instance in Brazil during the recent years. We think the timing is perfect. Gripen is a proven and mature platform and system. With Echo Foxtrot, the latest version, we bring the latest available technology to Finland. We heard that Globaleye, being the latest and most advanced airborne early warning and control system available on the market today, that is nothing that we started with yesterday. We have a 25-year experience within the development of airborne early warning and control systems. And then as a company, we have a long-term commitment for Finland. As Jonas mentioned, we're here since the 1940s. We will stay for many more years. Only the Squadron 2020 is bringing up here to stay up until 2060 at least. And also in a broader perspective, given the clear mindset on a political level, both in Finland and Sweden, for the deepened defense cooperation, we think that that is an excellent basis for this type of long-term program a defense or a fighter aircraft acquisition is about. So this is the logic we see, and we hope that many more will see it with us. And that, ladies and gentlemen, concludes our briefing here this morning, and we're happy to take your questions. And in order to do that, perhaps we shall also introduce here part of our team from press. We have our head of press center, press officer, Ann Wolgers. We have also Jan Levenstam, head of communications here in Finland. And we have Conal Walker, working at press center and handling the team with some of the journalists coming here with us. Having introduced my colleagues, we are happy to take your questions.
Kettunen, Suomen sotilasmagazine. You told us that in HX challenge, not only those planes that we have outside right now, not only they will take part, but some planes also which are not there.
Currently the Dash 10 is here, and that is the one we will go and look at. Later during this evaluation week, also Dash 7 will come here and take part of the planned evaluation activities and evaluation flights. And that is being used to support some of the sensor evaluations. So we're using it as one of the test aircraft, especially within the sensor side. And we have the Globaleye. Quite soon it will be airborne with a team from the Finnish Defence Forces as well on board to conduct evaluations on that side of our offering.
Thank you. Craig Hoyle with Flight International. How much of a gamble are you taking by offering the Globaleye, in that it's not a capability that Finland currently has and notionally isn't asking for as a fighter replacement? And added to that, Sweden isn't yet buying it. So how will that play?
If I start, from our perspective, no gambling at all. The request that we have got from the HX program and from the Finnish Defence Forces is about capability. How we design that capability is a little bit, in this stage, up to us. And we think we have the perfect mix to reach the asked for capability. But obviously, that will be a discussion before the decision is finally taken here in Finland. But no, from our side, we don't see it's a gambling. We see that we actually provide the best available package from an operational perspective.
And just to add that Sweden is an operator for airborne early warning, and Globaleye is yes, the name of the latest version, but they operate earlier versions. We actually see in papers that there's some plans to replace it, although no decisions taken, of course.
Thank you.
Niels Mygge, Finnish News Agency. We just heard from Colonel Kenner that the current weather today is perfect for testing, and we heard from you that the E is not flying, at least when we are here, perhaps. So is it too much to say that it's not flying at all today, and is it a choice for the hosts or the guests to make?
We have made a decision together. We are optimizing the use of the platforms during this week, and today it is due to the weather that we have decided not to fly. We need to be able to conduct what we were planning to conduct, and it was not just a sortie for media and then landing. We had a number of things to do afterwards as well. And as was pointed out here before, we do a lot of sensor testing during this week, and we need to have the right circumstances before the flights. We were happy to see, in line with what we heard this morning here earlier from Colonel Kärinen, when the Gripen E was landing in, the Dash 10 was landing in yesterday in really wintry conditions here in Finland, the type of environment it is designed for.
Yeah, I think we I think we've proven with the arrival of the 39-10 yesterday that harsh climate and bad weather is not stopping the aircraft.
Robin Häggblom for corporalfrisk.com. We're talking that the Globaleye offers not only a air-to-air picture but also air-to-ground, air-to-sea. But there's quite a little talk about what exactly you see when you're looking at the ground or the sea. Would you like to go further into that?
So depends a bit about. I can maybe use this since we have them here. If you look at the main radar on top of the aircraft, it's of course firstly designed for air-to-air, but over the years we've developed it also to do air-to-sea and air-to-surface, whether surface is land or sea. So on top of that, the configuration that we will have here also carries a sea spray X-band radar, which is for more detailed maritime use. And the sea spray radar is fairly known. I would say jet ski kind of targets. Jet skis actually we can see even with our area radar, and smaller than that you can pick up with the X-band. And then in a certain configuration you can also have electro-optical and infrared sensors for land and sea as well. Ground moving target indicator as well, using the electro-optical and infrared sensors.
Hi, Jamie Hunter from Combat Aircraft Company. Could you just give us a bit of detail, if possible, about how the inclusion of Globaleye affects the number of fighters that you can include in the package? Does that enable you to reduce that complement? Or, I mean, 64 was the notional number, I know that's gone away now, so is there some, does that give you some flexibility?
So, just as a broad and overall question or response to that question, yes, obviously, including Globaleye aircraft will reduce the number of other aircraft as part of the package. That is logic. We have looked at it in trying to optimize the operational capability, and we have come to the conclusion that it is worth that type of trade-off in terms of how we use the available budget. I think, I mean, it is clear that we have been instructed, and we fully respect that we will not go into the figures when it comes to numbers of aircraft in the revised RFQ response. However, as an indication, you may have noticed what was the situation previously in our previous response, and I think that may give you a hint on that we could offer quite a substantial number of fighters as well as Globaleye aircraft. So we thought we had this flexibility.
And the 5-year package you mentioned, 2025 to 2030, that's included in the initial 10 billion budget?
It is included partly in that. It works so that up until the IOC state, the Finnish Defence Forces are planning the operational budget to be, or let's say cost of operations to be handled by the acquisition budget. After that, it needs to be covered by the operational budget. But those are details we need to sort out. What I wanted to make clear is that we are suggesting this as part of our package and offering for a smooth transition.
Can I also add, I think from the HX program we have been giving quite large freedom to actually, here's what we want to achieve from the Finnish side. Please tell us what you think is the best way to achieve it. And therefore we think the mix that we are now presenting is the best mix to achieve the operational targets or the operational challenge that we have been given from the HX program.
John Lake, are you just looking at one force structure mix, or are you offering a number of alternative mixes with different numbers of Globaleyes and different numbers of Gripens? Are you thinking of one alternative being a Globaleye free option?
At the moment we have composed a mixture which we think, as I said, meet the operational
So
requirements.
just one mixture?
At the
being
moment,
put
yes.
forward.
I can complement also saying that as part of the request from the customer side, we are also submitting enough detailed information so that that type of sensitivity analysis can be done also by the Finnish Defence Forces. And this is exactly the dialogue we are having constantly with the customer, and we will continue to have in the coming negotiations, as was pointed out here in the morning.
I think it was a good one.
Alan Warnes, freelancer. Can you describe to us, or explain to us which radar you're offering in the Gripen E to HX? Is it Mark 4 or Mark 5?
It is the Raven 5.
The Mark 5. Which
No.
variant?
Alan, he's saying the Raven, the Leonardo Raven,
Yeah.
Oh,
not
yeah.
the one you're asking.
Okay, sorry.
So you're
Good, thank you.
offering the Raven?
Yes, we do.
Jonas Kuikka from London Media. Have you already made test flights from road or high-day bases, or if you have you made those during winter time?
We haven't really come to that stage in the test and verification program that we have done it on actual road bases in Sweden, but we are actually doing it in Linköping on a simulated short runway. So the same parameters that are the requirement in the current contracts that we have.
At the airport.
So at the airport that we have. So yes and no, I would say. We are testing, but on our own runway, but we are having marks on the runway saying this is the road base conditions. So we are on the way to do it. But in winter environment, no, we haven't so far. It will come it's in the program, but we haven't reached that yet.
Please.
Nielsen-Mäki, Finnish News Agency again. You said that timing is perfect for Finland as it comes to Gripen, but your plane here is a test plane compared to the others that were from the other providers that are already in operational use. So what's the target for having Gripen Echo or Foxtrot in operational use, either in Brazilian or Swedish Air Force?
We will be having them in operational service with a full capability as ordered and requested by the customers by 2023. And that means...
23.
Yes,
Yeah.
that means with margin before we start the deliveries to Finland in 2025. And we shall also remember that as you could see on the slide here this morning, that there is an initial operational capability defined to 2027, and then the full operational capability with all aircraft need to be in place in 2030. And we see that we truly have margin to deliver to Finland, and we feel confident that this will be fully doable.
And also to complement that, there is another perspective also that was shown on the initial slides for future growth. And as we have been saying, we are in the development stage. Yes, we are using the latest technology, which also gives us, in our view, a head start for the future growth, because we can already today include the latest technology. And we will be definitely ready in enough time before we are starting to delivery according to the schedule to the Finnish Defence Forces.
It's also, it's always providing certain comfort to see everything flying in the flight line, but the deliveries will end in 2030. If we would have been flying what we are offering right now, already since a number of years back in operational service, we would have been offering older technology than we actually offer today.